What's up, guys? So, was Jesus a hunk? Let's find out. You know, when we read Isaiah 53, we love to quote verse 5. It's a beautiful verse. It's one of the most beautiful verses in the Bible. It's one of the most hopeful verses in the Bible, let alone the Old Testament. And it's one of the best ones to ever read. And it reads, "But he was pierced for our transgression. He was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was upon him, and by his stripes we are healed." What a verse. It's a beautiful verse. We love to confess it. We love to proclaim it. We love to claim it for ourselves, as we should. It's a solid verse to stand on. But we gloss over verse 2, which gives a real description of Jesus. And listen to what it says. It says, "He grew up before him like a tender shoot and like a root out of dry ground. He had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him in his appearance that we should desire him." Underline the word no beauty, no majesty, nothing in his appearance that we should desire him. See, some of you ladies say how much you love Jesus. But if Jesus was stood in front of you 2,000 years ago and he was looking for a missus, quote unquote, and he shot at you. He made an advance toward you. Forget the glory, forget the miracles, forget the turning water into wine, forget the healings, just the Isaiah 53 verse 2 Jesus standing in front of you. Would you agree to his advances? Would you fall for him? Would you fall squarely in that box and go on a date with him? I'll wait. If Jesus was on Bumble or on Christian Mingle, other dating websites are available, by the way, would you swipe right? Can you imagine his profile bio? "I am the way and the truth and the life. I am the bread of life. I have come that you may have life to its fullest." How many of you would read that and be like, left, would be like cringe, and just swipe left. His face and his words didn't match. In my country where we speak Swahili, we say, alikuwa na sura personal. His face was uniquely personal to him. In other words, he was as basic looking as he came. See, Jesus didn't look like George Clooney or Brad Pitt or Idris Elba. He didn't look like Michael B. Jordan or David Gandhi or insert perceived handsome person here. If he was on Bumble or eHarmony, you'd probably have swiped left. Jesus didn't look like all of you beautiful people looking at me right now. He looked like me, average looking at best. Okay, even I struggle to believe that, I know I'm cute, but you know what I'm alluding to, right? You get the point though, right? There was nothing wonderful about the man, Isaiah 53 verses 3 actually continues to describe him as a man that was despised and rejected by man, a man of sorrows and familiar with suffering. Like one from whom men hide their faces, he was despised and we esteemed him not. But yet this is the man that we cannot live without. The stone that the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Psalms 118 and verses 22. We're nothing without him. His impact was eternal and still is eternal. First Corinthians chapter 1, verses 27 to 29 says, but God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. God chose the lowly things of this world and the despised things and the things that are not to nullify the things that are, so that no one may boast before him. When you look through the Bible and we see evidence of this over and over and over again. We see the call of God on ordinary men and women. Think of, when I think through the Bible and the people God has used in the past, almost none of them were remarkable enough or qualified enough. Think of David, a shepherd boy chosen to deliver Israel from the hands of the Philistines. And he became king out of much older, stronger, faster brothers. Showing that deliverance can come from the strangest of places and the most unsuspecting of people. Samuel gets called by God and he can't even recognize his voice at first instance. At the guidance of Eli, he finally recognizes his voice and has a conversation with God. Timothy, encouraged by Paul not to let anyone look down on him because of his youth. Joshua, another young person chosen by God to take the Israelites to Canaan. God asks him to be strong and courageous and to divide the land among the people and to study and meditate on God's word continually. Moses admits his speech was not remarkable. He was of slow speech and of a slow tongue, Theologians have argued he had a stammer, but God still chooses him to take the Israelites out of Egypt, to proclaim the laws of God, to face the Egyptian Pharaoh 10 times, and act as a leader for God's people. Elisha recognizes his inadequacies and asks for a double portion of Elijah's spirit in 2 Kings. Joseph, gets chosen out of his brothers and they feel some type of way. Rahab assists the Israelites by hiding 2 spies, risking her life in the process. I could mention Ruth and her, your people shall be my people moment. I could mention Hannah's shame from barrenness, and the list goes on and on and on and on. God seems to have this thing where His call on your life and your personality and your skills are on opposing ends, God has a sense of humor. The guy who can't speak gets called to preach. The guy, with fear gets called to a role of courage. The weak guy gets made strong. The follower becomes the leader. So the question, that I want to leave you with, for those of you who've made it this far into the video, do you consider yourself to be unremarkable? Do you consider yourself to be not qualified enough or worthy enough? Well, I have some news for you. You have all the raw materials for God to use you. You got all the raw materials. You got everything it takes for God to use you and to do something beautiful in your life, to bless you and to bless other people. It's been Manny's Faith. If you've got any sort of value out of this video, could you just give me a sub, give me a like, let me know what you think down below. If you've got no value at all, then can only apologize for wasting your time. Till next time.